This video ends when I find my next 5-star read. A 5-star for me is an unforgettable plot or characters. It might be days or even weeks after I read that and I'm still thinking about it. 2, I have some kind of emotional response to the story, like crying, laughing, all those fun emotions. And 3, I just loved everything about the book and I can't shut up about it for the next few days or weeks or even months. Time for a book update. Our first book, Heartless Hunter. This is the cover. You've probably seen this before. I see it all over my For You page and everyone just says that it's so good. And the second book recently came out, so I want to see what it's all about. I got to page 104, chapter 14, and basically this story or this book is, like it says in here, is an enemies to lovers that doesn't get more high stakes than a witch and a witch hunter falling in love. So our witch in the story is named Rune Winters and our witch hunter is named Gideon. I don't remember his last name. So in this world in the past, witches and humans used to live together until they got shunned by the community, labeled as dangerous or just not right to be around humans. So these people called the Blood Guards started hunting witches and draining them of their blood because that's where their power is. And in this book, Rune is also the Crimson Moth, or the person or witch that helps other witches escape from these Blood Guards, because I think they keep them for a little bit and then drain them afterwards. I don't know, maybe to try to get information or whatever. But Gideon has a witch that Rune wants to save, and Gideon is suspecting Rune of being the Crimson Moth because, I don't know, her name came up somewhere, and now he's pretending to court her because she's like this rich young woman and she has a lot of quarters or whatever. So he's trying to make her fall for him so he can get information out of her, and she's doing the same thing with him. So it's just funny. Gideon has a younger brother named Alex and he knows everything, and I'm loving him more right now than Gideon because he's so sweet. When her period came, that's when they know they're witches because they bleed black. He was like, okay, I will take care of you. I'll get you new clothes and I'll run a bath for you. And she's like, where are the guards? Are they gonna be here any minute? Did you tell on me? And he's like, no, your secret is safe with me. I'm loving him right now. I'm Team Alex right now, but I know it's gonna be Gideon because it's dual point of view. It's Rune and Gideon. So far, I'm loving this book. Okay, I shouldn't have judged Gideon just yet because literally that next chapter 14, oh my god, he's so sweet. I don't know if this is a spoiler. It's not a spoiler, but she was complaining about an event she had to go to, saying that her seamstress wasn't around till the next month or something, and she wouldn't have a dress to wear. So he's making her a dress because his parents were popular seamstress back in the day before something happened to them, and he still has all their notes, all their materials and all that, so he's making her a dress. I can't. If a man made me a dress from scratch, I would just die right there and then on the spot. Oh my god. Hello guys, it's a couple hours later. Don't mind how I look. I literally just finished an everything shower and I feel like I can pass out right now. You can see in my eyes. I'm so tired. Anyways, as you saw from my previous clips, I did finish Heartless Hunter and I don't know how to feel about it. Every person that I've seen read this, they loved it, but I didn't. Like, I liked it, but I didn't love it. The plot was just a little like flat for me. Like, yeah, it's enemies to lovers. I enjoyed the beginning because it was them hating on each other, but then once they got together, I was like, okay, like, what are we doing here? The fact that Gideon keeps saying, like, if I prove her innocence, I'm gonna back away and cut whatever is going on between us, because he knows that Alex, his younger brother, is in love with her, like, since they were kids, and he doesn't. And I'm like, what are we doing here? I thought you wanted the best for your brother. But I mean, love is love. You can't control who you fall for. Alex, I feel like he's a better match for Rune. I don't know why the guy that shows interest and, like, you know, shows effort and is promising all these things always doesn't get the girl. Like, they put in the most effort. The girl usually, like, leaves them hanging until she can make up her mind. Like, either it's this guy or this guy. It always ends up being like the bad boy, rebellious type of guy. But I mean, I guess they're more interesting. But I just feel bad for Alex, and my heart broke for him. Like, I literally cried for him. The end was what I loved in this book. Everything just, like, skyrocketed. It was like 0 to 100 so fast. As you saw from my reactions, I was like, my jaw was on the ground. Is this really happening? Is what's happening in my mind while I was reading that. It was crazy. Other than that, I didn't really love the rest of the book. I feel like there was a lot of potential, but it just kind of felt flat for me. And I don't want to sit here and lie and tell you guys that I love this book because everyone else did. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's what I like about reading, because something that I think is like a 6-star read might be your 1-star, even DNF. We listen, but we don't judge. Why did I just say that? Sorry, I'm so tired. Anyways, I am gonna pick up the next book because everything that happened in the end kind of left in a cliffhanger, and I want to know what happens. I want to see how Rune and Gideon heal from this, what just happened, because I'm like, what is going on? How is this gonna go on? Because it ended in a show. Okay, it did. I feel like this is a YA fantasy, am I right? I don't know. The world building in this wasn't really much because, yeah, it is a short fantasy book, but I don't know. I think it's because I just came out of reading the Throne of Glass series and I compare every fantasy book that I read to that. The main characters, or like majority of the characters in here, I felt like were a little bit one-dimensional, like even Gideon and Rune. I mean, yes, it did talk about their traumas and why Gideon hates witches, which I understand because of what happened to him, and why Rune is saving witches, because there's a good and bad witches, but like, I don't know. Like, Rune at the end of this book, I was like, really? Like, you're just gonna stand there and do nothing and watch this whole thing happen? Like, what is going on? I don't know what to rate this book. I'm like between a 3.5 and a 4, so I think I'm gonna go in between and rate it a 3.75. Anyways, we're gonna switch gears. I'm not gonna pick up another fantasy because I feel like that's gonna put me in a reading slump, and I'm not gonna pick up a romance because I just finished reading a bunch of romances. So I'm gonna pick up a literary fiction, and this book has been like an anticipated read for me, but I've had it for a while and I don't know why I haven't picked it up. And it is The Wedding People by Alison S. Back. This is giving such summery vibes, and I'm trying to get into my summer TBR because it's springtime. That means summer is right around the corner, and summer is my favorite season. So I want to get into that headspace. We talk about how many pages you have to flip through to get to the actual story, like that much. Oh my god. It like says the title 5 times before you actually get to the first chapter. And this book doesn't have any chapters, so we'll see how that goes. Hey guys, it's a couple hours later. I got this far into the book, page 149. I don't know the chapter because this book doesn't have chapters, which at the beginning I was like, this is kind of weird, and the chapters would be a little bit long. Like one chapter I spent 30 minutes reading, so I was like, oh my god, this is so hard to get through. Sorry, this chair is so squeaky, but it kind of hooked me at the very beginning. It's actually pretty good so far. I like the concept of the story, and I think now I have a good grasp of the storyline or the plot. And at first I thought that the female main character in here, her husband died, but Phoebe, our female main character, decides to go on this like vacation and splurge on herself for the last time because she's planning to, you know, herself, because she's grieving her husband, their divorce and everything, because her husband was the biggest jerk. Like, why would you just let it keep going for that long and then wake up one morning and say, you know what, I'm done. I am done. I'm gonna leave you. I'm in love with someone else. So she ends up going to this hotel that she's been bugging her husband to go to, but it was too expensive. So she goes there with nothing, like literally just the clothes she has on her back, because she's planning to stay one night, and you know. But when she gets there, she finds out that there's a big wedding there. Apparently she's the only one at that hotel who isn't part of the wedding party, and I think they made like a mistake or something, and she booked like the penthouse. So she's there. She ends up meeting the bride, and she's like, whose family are you part of? Like, this bride is mega rich. She booked everything. She booked out the whole hotel. Phoebe was just like, might as well be honest and straight up, and she's like, I'm here to like myself. And the bride's like, please don't do this during my wedding week. I planned my whole life for this. And at that point they end up like getting close, and our bride, her name's Lila, she ends up confiding in her all her family problems, her problems in life, her problems with like other people, and she's like interested. I do want to say, check the trigger warnings because it does talk about heavy mental health topics. So she ends up doing that, but then she ends up backing out, and now she's like part of the wedding party. It was just so cool because all these people she's around, they're rich people with so much drama. I also have been addicted to reading on my iPad. I know this thing's huge, but when I'm in bed I just set it up like this, and it's pretty good. Hello guys, it's like a couple days later. I don't even remember the last time I picked up the camera to talk to you guys, but I did end up finishing The Wedding People, and this book was really good. But it wasn't a 5-star. Like, it didn't give me that 5-star feeling. It was really close, but it just like lacked something, and I just can't name it. Anyways, my thoughts on this book. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I think this book will stick to me because of its like main message or theme of how one person or one situation can like profoundly impact a person's life. In this case, the unexpected friendship between our main character Phoebe and the bride Lila. It was a unique reading experience because I would have tears in my eyes from laughing because there were some funny scenes in here, while also experiencing these very real situations or conversations that happen in real life about how it is so hard to be a person and, you know, live life, because life tends to throw us a lot of challenges, and some people just face more harder challenges than others. Ultimately, this book was not about dying. Like, I know our female main character went to this resort to splurge and, you know, live her best life or best last day on earth before she takes her own life. But no, after she meets all these people in the wedding, everything changes from her. There was so much chaos and drama with these rich people. I love it. And she just got consumed in it. And in the end, she felt like she got a second chance in life and had a new perspective of the world and started planning for the future, which is like good for someone in her situation. There was a little side romance that I loved because these two characters had such a connection, but it also felt wrong. Like, if you read this book, you'll know. I feel like it's kind of open-ended. The romance is kind of open-ended. I want a second book to see where that goes, if possible, but I don't know if we're gonna get a second book. Anyways, yeah, I rate this a 4.5 stars. Like I said, it was so close to giving that 5-star feeling, but it just wasn't. This book felt a little too real, so I decided to go into like a fantasy world and started a new book. That book, as you saw from the previous clips, is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Everyone knows about this book. I've seen it all over my TikTok For You page, my Instagram reels, my Facebook reels. Like, I feel like everyone and their mother has read this book. I'm just late to the game, like always. This book, I love the size of it. It's like the size of a hardback, but in paperback. I love it, and I also love how floppy it is. I got to page 106, chapter 8, and it's been so good so far. I've been craving for a really good romantasy ever since Heartless Hunter. That one just didn't hit the right mark for me, so hopefully this will. Yeah, I don't know much so far. I just started it, so I'll update you guys in a little bit when I'm farther into this book. Fisher, I never thought he'd be like this. Like, he is so suggestive and like just no filter, playful, but not in a fun way, in a dangerous way. And he's like, "Look around and find out." And I'm like, he says so many overly inappropriate things around her just to like with her, because he can sense it when she's turned on. And I'm like, what? He's sitting on a bench right now. He's sitting on a bench or a chair, and she's standing facing towards him, and he's still taller. Like, how big is this man and how small is she? Because I'm like, what? She has to look up at him to see him, even though he's sitting down. That's a long distance relationship, if you ask me. I feel like this man is just gonna drive me crazy, and I'm okay with it. Hello guys, it's the next evening. It's actually 7 p.m. I'm so surprised that it's still so bright out. I thought I'd be like filming in the dark, but I got this far into the book. This is such a big long book that I haven't even made it halfway, but I got to page 253, chapter 18, and I feel like I have a better understanding of the plot and the like whole story. So we have our female main character, Sarah Swain. She's 24. She steals something from the queen or the queen's guard, and she ends up getting taken to the castle to get punished. And while she was getting punished and essentially killed, she accidentally opens a realm to the Fae world, and that inevitably opens all the gates to other realms, because it was said that this pool of Quicksilver was closed by the current queen of the human world, named Madra, I think, by the Sword of Solace. And she ends up picking up the sword and opens it, and someone handsome and tall and, you know, dark and tattooed comes out of the pool and takes her with him to the Fae world. Alchemists, or those types of people, or Fae, were the only people known to open the gates. So that's why Kingfisher took her back, because now they think they potentially have a alchemist on their hands, and she's tasked with making relics for the soldiers in the Fae world so that they can go through the Quicksilver pool without dying, because apparently if you go through it without a relic or something protecting you, you die. Really, it affected Kingfisher a lot because he didn't have one going through it, because he gave the pendant or relic he had to Ceres so she wouldn't die. Yeah, so now she's tasked with that, and they believe she has Fae blood, because how can she do all this if she's not Fae? And I'm like, surprise, surprise, the poor ordinary girl is not an ordinary girl. She's way more than that, and it kind of reminds me of the Throne of Glass series in that aspect. And then there's also like different courts in this world, like an autumn court, a winter court, and it kind of reminds me of ACOTAR. And then it also kind of reminds me of Fourth Wing because of him and his relics, his tattoos, and also his eyes, because every time he goes into the Quicksilver, a little bit of the Quicksilver is inside him and it's shown through his eyes. So like, if you know, you know. She also has a pet fox in here and its name is Onyx. So it's like a combination of all those 3 series, and those are like my top fantasy series ever. What? He tracked her based on the smell of her what? Oh my god. Hey guys, it's like a couple days later. I had a shift yesterday, so I didn't really read much, but I got this far into the book. I feel like this book is taking me so long to read because it is a long book and there's so many words, but the concept and the story and everything, it's very interesting. Like, I like it. I love Kingfisher. I do have a love-hate relationship with him though. Like, one minute he's saying all the right things and being sweet in his own way because he's like, I don't know, he just doesn't show affection just because of everything he's been through. But then the next minute he's horrible. And I'm like, okay, buddy, like that's kind of rude, but I kind of love it. Like, anyways, the world building in this book is still ongoing. I know there's like another book after this, but we're kind of learning more about the Fey world with Sarah's Fane. She doesn't know much because Fisher won't tell her a lot, but she learns a lot through the people around her. And it's been quite interesting. This also kind of reminds me, on top of like ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, Throne of Glass, it also reminds me of Twilight. At one point they were talking about the Fae children, how they grow twice as fast and they are fully grown by the time they're like 21 or 22. So that's interesting. It's like Renesmee. Also, there's like vampires and werewolf packs in here. I'm like, what? Where did this come from? I'm loving it because it's reminding me of all my favorite series. Yeah, it's good so far, but I feel like I'm in a little bit of a reading slump, so I'm gonna go to the bookstore. The new Abby Jimenez book has been out for like a week and I've been clueless about it. I just saw a TikTok and I was like, wait, that's out? So I'm gonna go get it along with other books. So maybe I'll take you guys along with me. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see you there. Oh my god, you don't know how many times I've recorded this and realized my camera's not recording. Oh my god. Anyways, I feel like you see me in the sweatshirt or sweatsuit in a lot of my recent videos. I just got this recently, and this is me with any type of sweaters or sweatsuit. I hyperfixate on it and I'm obsessed with it for the first couple weeks, and I wear it continuously. I do wash it, but then I get tired of it, get a new thing, and move on, and that's like what happens every time. Anyways, I did finish Quicksilver early this morning, and I just was like, what? I was processing everything that was happening in my head and connecting dots after reading this, and now it's 5:20. I finished it this morning at 10:30, and I've been doing nothing, staring at the wall, looking through TikToks and like, you know, theories of what might happen next. During the last third of the book, that's where everything went down. I was finding things out with Sirius, our female main character, left and right, and I was shook. Okay? I wasn't even putting the dots together and connecting things while I was reading, and then after I finished the book, that's where I started like, you know, critically thinking about the story. And mind you, this is like any other romantasy series I've read before, but like I said, it's like my favorite series all combined into one. I've seen this story before, it's been in other stories, but it surprises me every time, and I love that books have that ability to shock me. Even though I've read about it, like basically all the romantasy series or books that I read about is about this female main character who is poor, at the bottom of the ranks, like it's just like an ordinary, a plain Jane. And then our male main character is like this powerful, top ranks, tall, dark, and beautiful, you know, has power over people. They somehow cross paths and, you know, hate each other at first and then fall in love, and it's just so good, especially if it's enemies to lovers. I will eat that up every single time. I loved how Kingfisher eventually, you know, accepted his fate and, you know, opening up to her and telling her about his past and what he's gone through, why he is the way he is. And something about powerful male cowering down and, you know, acting like a little boy or a baby around their girl or their woman just has a soft spot in my heart. Like, I love it. They're tough and rough in front of everyone else, but then when they close the doors and it's just the two of them, he's just a big baby, and that's exactly him. I loved it. I started tabbing when he came into the storyline, and you can tell where he came through. Like, this first bit was just about Saris and her life, and I was just like, okay, when are we gonna meet this like Kingfisher guy who's on the cover? And from then the story took off. One of the characters in here, Carrion, he's also a human. I loved him. He's the jokester of the group. He lightens the mood. He's always saying funny things, and I love those characters. I feel like they bring so much to the story. It just makes it more enjoyable. However, this ended with a cliffhanger, but the good kind of cliffhanger. You know, it's a feel-good cliffhanger. You know what to expect in the first book, how it's gonna start. You don't know what's gonna happen, but I hate when books have a really bad cliffhanger where you're just staring at the wall questioning what you just read and what that all means. Like Onyx Storm, I literally could not pick up a book for a week and a half after that book, because right after I finished it, it ended with a cliffhanger. It was so good, but then I'm like, what the frick just happened? Like, what? I stayed up all night scrolling through like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and even Reddit, reading about people's theories of what might happen next, and I'm like, oh my god, there's so many good ones. I wonder what's gonna happen. Anyways, that didn't happen with this. I loved it. I don't think it's a 5-star though. It's very, very close. It's between a 4.5 and a 5 for me, so I'm gonna go with a 4.75. I don't know. I think it's just like, it would have been a 5 stars if it was easy to pick up and I was like looking forward to reading it. It was just hard to like, you know, start reading it and then get into it, because it is a fantasy book and it's pretty lengthy. But aside from that, the story was so good. I loved it. I'm definitely gonna pick up the next book, specifically because Kingfisher reminds me so much of Xaden. Anyways, I feel like I talk too much, but my talking is not over yet because I went to the bookstore yesterday and I got a little bit carried away. I did limit myself. I wanted to get more books, but I limited myself to the ones I really wanted, and I'm gonna show you. These are the books that I got yesterday. I know it's a lot. I know I said I was gonna limit myself after that big book haul video that I did. I'll link it up somewhere here. Here I am again buying new books, but I have a reason. 2 of them are new releases, and 3 of them, apparently Abby Jimenez was like author of the month for Indigo, and all her books were like 25% off. I also had the Plum Rewards card, which got me points and also an extra 10% off. So I basically got all her books for 35% off. That's so good. Anyways, I'm gonna start with a book that is not by Abby Jimenez, and that is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is the last book in the Powerless trilogy, and I absolutely love that series. I got these 3 Abby Jimenez books. I have all of her books. I don't have these though. I believe these were like one of the first books that she wrote, and it's all in the same world, just like Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer. So this is kind of the same. And the first book is The Friend Zone. This is so cute. The next one is The Happy Ever after Playlist, and this one's more popular. This is what I hear about more with her older books. And then the next book is Life's Too Short, and the next book we're reading in this video, hopefully it's a 5 stars. All her previous books has been a 5 stars for me, especially just for the summer. That's like one of my favorite books ever. That is Say You'll Remember Me. This one came out I think last week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, how did I not know? This book starts off with a lady wanting to put her dog down, even though the dog's perfectly healthy. Like, what? Give me the damn dog, please. This lady does not deserve to have this lovely dog. Guys, so I'm like on page 10 and I'm already loving this. I'm sorry for this angle. I just don't want to fix my camera. Samantha is our female main character and Xavier is our male main character, and he's a vet. She went in there to get the kitten she like rescued somewhere checked because the kitten wasn't doing good, and the sister's like, oh, what did he look like? Because apparently he was like kind of a jerk. And she says, like if Rysand from the Akatar series were a real person. I am instantly in love with this book. Hello guys, it's time for a reading update. I got this far into the book, page 98, chapter 13, and this book is so good so far. The amount of times that Rysand or Rysand, I know it's supposed to be Rysand, but it just sounds right to me. I read his name as Rysand the first time, and that's how it will be for me for the rest of my time here on Earth. I love how Abby Jimenez puts so many likable characters in her books. Like, it just makes it 10 times more enjoyable, and they're all so funny. I love it. This book, we follow Xavier. I've been saying Xavier, but then my mom said it's Xavier. I don't know. I'm gonna say Xavier. Male main character is Xavier. He is a vet, and Samantha, our female main character, is like works in social media for like a mustard company. Like, she's in charge of their Instagram account and like, you know, the PR. They meet because Samantha rescues this kitten and decides to bring the kitten to the vet because she is like having digestive problems, and it turns out the kitten doesn't have an anus. Like, it's all in one hole, if you know what I mean. And apparently it was gonna be an expensive surgery, so Xavier recommended putting the kitten down, but she didn't give up and put up a GoFundMe page and ended up raising money to get the surgery, and that's how they met. The second time they see each other, he ends up asking her on a date, and they go on this like remarkable, memorable date, and you know, they just end up liking each other so much. But then the next day she tells him that she's moving away, so all concerns of a relationship would be impossible, and Samantha just told him to forget about her. There is kind of like a sad emotional aspect to this book. Samantha's mom is, I think, 54, and she had like a brain injury or some sort that led her to develop dementia, so she's moving away back home to help take care of her, and the mom doesn't remember her because she's been away for so long, and it's just really sad. Hello guys, it's a couple days later. I know I'm wearing the same sweatsuit as whatever how many days ago it was, but I just had like the hardest 2 day shifts in my career so far. Mind you, my career is like a month and a half in. And there's probably gonna be harder days, but I just feel so exhausted. I couldn't even read. Even when I got home, I could not pick up a book. I just took a shower and crashed. Anyways, it is now 3:18. I have my first night shift tonight out of 2. So I have like 5-ish hours before I have to go in. So I'm gonna read for a few hours. And I don't know what else. I'm so tired. I'm still reading this book. I'm still this much in. I think I read like a chapter from the last time you saw me. I'm now on chapter 17, page 132. You know what? You know what I think? Is that whenever I can't read a book like continuously and there's like so many breaks in between, it kind of changes my thoughts on it. Maybe that's what happened with Quicksilver. And especially when I'm having a hard week, I just like can't enjoy normal things that I used to enjoy. I'm trying guys. I'm gonna read. But what I am excited about is the cheesecake. I bought cheesecake. Well, me and my brother bought cheesecake for his birthday, but then I bought an extra one because it was like caramel chocolate pecan. Like, I love pecans and I love cheesecake and I love caramel and I love chocolate. My brother got a plain Jane raspberry cheesecake, but I got, oh my god, someone ate it. But it's fine. They left the best piece, which is like the center, where it's like topping central. I'm probably gonna eat this whole thing. It's not that big. Like, it's not big. Kind of is, but I deserve a sweet treat for tonight, so I'm gonna eat it. Cheers. Hey guys, I've only been reading for like an hour-ish, but I went on TikTok and I kid you not, the first thing that popped up on my For You page was about this book. Well, not about this book. Abby Jimenez was at a book event in Toronto about this book. I'll put like the TikTok on the side here, but it has millions of views, millions of likes, so you probably have seen it. Like I said, she was at a book event and the fire alarms went off and firefighters showed up, and this book event is attended by romance lovers. Like, that was just out of a romance novel, and that happening to Abby Jimenez was just so funny because I love her romance books. I wonder if this is gonna be like a idea for her, a book idea. I feel like the next book that she's gonna come out with is gonna have like some firefighters in it. Please, because that was the perfect situation to put in your book, because that's just what? That never happens. That happens in romance books, and you write romance books. So please, Abby Jimenez, if you can take away anything from that situation, take that idea away, put it in one of your books. Oh my god, I will eat it up. Hello guys, it's a couple days or a few days later. I don't remember when I last picked up the camera and updated you guys. This morning I ended up finishing this book, and my initial thoughts when I finished it, I was like, yeah, great, love anything by Abby Jimenez. She's one of my favorite romance authors ever. But then once I actually sat down and thought about the plot, the characters, and everything that happened, I was like, wait, I don't actually love this. Like, I like it, but I don't love it like her other books. Like, Just for the Summer that came out last year, I absolutely love this book. I gave it a 5 stars, probably even a 6 star. Her writing is just phenomenal. Her writing in this was phenomenal as well. I annotated a bunch. There were so many pretty lines or quotes that just stood out to me, and anything that Xavier would do, I love it. He's an acts of service type of guy, but I didn't love the insta-lovey trope, like they saw each other and bam, they're in love. That does happen in real life though. I know a few people who saw their significant other for the first time and knew that they were the one, and they're still happily together now. But in books, I love a slow burn where you see the progression of their love stories. It's a bonus when they can't stand each other or hate each other at first, and then they start slowly fall in love once they spend more time with each other. But this one, I just didn't really love it. Like, I loved the grumpy sunshine. The other thing I didn't really like is the amount of social media references in this book, which we can't really avoid because Samantha, our female main character, works in the social media world, so she references a lot of like trendy topics, TikToks. I don't really love that because I read to escape my doom scrolling. If I read about TikTok and all that, all I want to do is just scroll on TikTok and stuff like that. I don't like it when, you know, reality meshes in with my books, because I read books for enjoyment and escaping the real world. The one thing I did love and didn't like at the same time is the long distance relationship that they delved into, which it felt real. Like, I'm in a long distance relationship and I felt everything that they feel. Like, you go and see your significant other for a little bit and time goes by so fast that the next minute you don't even realize you're back on a plane going back home, and you won't see your partner for a long time. And the yearning and the longing for each other, I felt that because I feel the same way with Austin. The reason why I don't really like that at the same time is that the whole middle of the book was just that. Like, they'd see each other, they'd do stuff together, and then one would leave. And then we're back to them missing each other, blah, blah, blah. But aside from that, when they're separated, there is a lot of things going on in their individual lives. Like Samantha, she had to move back home because her mom has dementia and she needed full-time care. Xavier, he's running this vet clinic, and, you know, he has a lot of things to think about, and the things with his family, it's just not great. Things that I loved. I already said I loved her writing. Her writing's so good. I highlighted so many things. There's this thing that happened with Xavier, like a redemption arc of why he became a vet, and then that comes full circle at the end of the book, and it was just so beautiful and so sweet. I loved everything about it. I did not see it coming. I love that he has a big heart for rescuing animals and taking care of animals. Like, the other thing I loved about this book, like all her other books, is that it's dual point of view. We get into the heads of both characters. We see what they're thinking, how they're feeling, and why they're acting the way they are. I just love that, and this cover is just so gorgeous. I think I'm gonna give this a 3.5 stars. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I definitely still recommend it. I feel like I didn't explain my feelings for this book as good. Whatever, I'm sorry. Like, I'm having really bad brain fog right now, but I know you're thinking this video is ending soon and you haven't found a 5-star yet. Hang in there, hang in there. For the past few days, I could not stop thinking about this book that I read in this video, and I'm like, if I'm thinking about it this much and going back reading different lines that I liked or different scenarios that I liked, it must be a 5 stars. Like, I was so hesitant about it, but I think I'm giving Quicksilver a 5-star. I kept seeing online that people loved the audiobook, and I caved in, bought the audiobook. I had a few credits available on Audible, so I used one of them, and once I heard his voice, it just added the cherry on top. It was the 0.25 missing from my rating. It was so good. I was listening to it at work during my night shifts when it wasn't really busy, and I loved it. I loved it. If you have the opportunity to listen to this on audio, the Audible book actors or voice actors did so good, especially him. I was like, that's exactly what I hear his voice as in my head. This is definitely my taste in romantasy books. Like I said, this was a combination of all the series that I loved, and I think it deserves a 5 stars. It was not too slow paced, it was not too fast paced, it was perfect. This was so good. It's definitely worth the hype. If you're still here at this point of the video, comment, I don't even know, comment the butterfly emoji. If you've read this book, you know, little Osha. Ugh, I love that nickname. Once I found out what it meant for him, I lost it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.